So I got my man Donald Battle, minister, father, husband. Hit us with something, man, to that guy who is in a blended family. It may not be going well. What would you say to that brother right now? Hey, listen, if you're listening out there, your kids cannot come between your relationship with your significant other.
Cannot.
Because the kids will cause you to be at odds with one another, and now there's tension in the home that way. So that's a great point. I think you mentioned something else too about really sacrifice, right? Like, guys, I can't stress this enough. You have to sacrifice certain things at certain periods of life.
Mm-hmm.
For a minute. Not forever, but for a minute.
Right, agree.
Like, okay, work, gotta cook, gotta clean, and then gotta get up and do it all over again. Yeah, it kind of sucks. Because you want to be able to just have some time in between. And some people have different hobbies that they can get into, sure. But for the most part, your social life kind of take a hit at a certain point in your life.
For sure.
For a minute, not forever. Because if you do it right, you get your kids straight, you get your kids rolling. Now you can start to work some of that back in.
Right.
I feel like a lot of guys don't understand that.
Me and my wife was having a conversation yesterday about sacrificing. I do think it's important to understand you can't always have everything all the time.
At the same time,
you know what I'm saying? So, hey, we're gonna get to this, we're gonna do this, but right now, this is the focus. We gotta give this up to get this done.
Bingo.
So my sacrifice has always been time. I'll give up my own time. I sleep less or don't get any sleep at all to make sure that they know I'm there, to make sure that I can do my best job of trying to accomplish whatever it is, the family goal, the family move for the week or whatever. I'll give up my sleep to try to do those things. That's the sacrifice for me that is the biggest when it relates to parenthood, is my time. And I willingly give that up. Like, I know God can provide for me and He gonna give me enough strength to keep doing these things because this is what I'm supposed to do. You know, this is what I signed up for. I chose to be a father. I chose to be a husband. So
that's why I'm bringing light to this. That's why I wanted to have these kind of conversations, because there's guys like you out there who you don't have time to post everything you're doing. You don't have time to, look at me. I'm taking care of my family. You're doing the things that you're supposed to do, but that don't mean that they're not hard, and that doesn't mean that you don't walk around stressed out from time to time. You just carry it better. You just handle your business. And I feel like there's a lot of us out there right now quietly just handling our business, trying to figure out A to B to C, and it's like we're not gonna ever get the credit, because the ones who get the credit is the dude who wasn't in the kid's life and now all of a sudden he's back in the kid's life. I mean, let's be honest, it's always a rags to riches story.
Now he's the man.
Yeah, I get it. There's a place for that. But man, I respect guys who, you said you'll sacrifice sleep. Man, when you're in your 30s,
sleep important, ain't it?
You gotta get some sleep.
Sleep important.
I mean, I'm looking forward to sleep tonight. I still got a few things I gotta do today, but boy, I'm gonna need to sleep because I gotta function tomorrow and the next day. No, I appreciate that, man. Let me just say thank you so much for just sharing that, because I really feel like that's gonna help somebody. I feel like these conversations are important because, number one, people now are want to listen in on conversations more so than have them.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, well, let me do the same thing, at least put something positive out there. I just wanted to be able to bring light to fatherhood in a way that's like that guys every day doing what they need to do. You know what I'm saying? And then on top of that, sometimes you're going through it with your spouse.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna throw this in there because you probably have experienced this like me, because you've been married for a minute too. You sometimes are kind of going through it with your spouse, but then it's like you still gotta take care of these kids. Talk to me about that.
So I don't have a problem with that. For me, it's easy to separate things for me.
Okay.
I honestly think that's why I'm able to endure more. Endure is a big word for me. Like, I literally pray and thank God for allowing me to endure. I don't always ask him to remove stuff away. I don't always ask him to, hey, take this burden off of me. Just give me the strength to hold on to it. Like, if this is what I'm supposed to have for a while, give me the strength to keep going. I don't care if you're not about to move right now. Just give me the same mind that I can push through.
Yeah.
So the scenario, we at odds, husband and wife at odds, but we still gotta take care of kids.
Mm-hmm.
I can go do the daddy stuff and not really be affected about, and I'm gonna use the term bedroom stuff because it's my wife, but it don't affect how I father. We're gonna come back and we're gonna try to figure it out together, but it doesn't affect how I parent. And I'm very particular about even work, not bringing work home to my kids. Like, not bringing work frustration home to them. Like, if I'm gonna bring it home, we're gonna sit down and talk to the wife about it. That's one thing. But, I'm frustrated, I'm tired from work, and I get home and my son is in need of attention. Get out of here, leave me alone. Like, we ain't doing all that. Like, he didn't do anything to me at work. Like, I'm not bringing the attitude home to him. So I'm very particular about separating those things, separating those feelings, and being honest, man. Both of my kids are really smart. They understand when you break things down to them. You break things. I talk to them and say, hey, Daddy had a rough day. Give me a minute. Hey, go play your drums for a minute. Go play with your iPad. Let me take a shower. Give me a few minutes to get myself together. They understand. So instead of raging out at them and showing them the anger or the frustration of the day, let's talk it out. Like, give me a second. Let me get this off of me, and then we can sit down and we're gonna go about our day. And then I go talk to Mama about it. We're gonna be good. Like, I don't believe in putting that on my kids.
Okay, so guys, listen. Battle just gave us some tips here. One is you have to, if I hear you correctly, you got to separate the emotions from the incident.
Absolutely.
Well, like, you have to stop and say, look, if I take a moment just to breathe for a second, I could probably approach this differently. Mm-hmm. So you can't attack everything head on, because a lot of times your kids may get the brunt of something you was dealing with at work. So that's not fair to them, right? And even with your spouse. And so now I can step back and say, all right, if I'm a little more level-headed, I can approach this differently. Mm-hmm. Tone is huge. Man, because we can, our voices are naturally deep. There's authority in our voice, so we don't have to really like.
My tone is bad.
You know what I'm saying?
No, I agree.
But even being aware is part of the game here. Like, even if I'm aware, some people are not aware that they just, like, okay, if you ever been around somebody who was chastising their kids and you felt like they was chastising you, because you was like, dang, I hate to be that kid right now.
Over there for a little bit.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, did he really deserve that much heat right there? And you try to stay in your lane, so but again, I mean, just understanding, that you can approach things differently. You don't have to always come at it from that gladiator, just overbearing, my way or the highway approach. You can come at it like, let's talk about this.
I think sometimes people overlook that little kids have feelings.
Yeah.
They forget that, and they have opinions. Like, even
no doubt.
My son is 3, but he got feelings and he got an opinion.
And Kinsley is 3. She definitely has an opinion.
Yeah, so, like, random example. 2 years ago, my son would always ask why. And when I was growing up, asking why, I get you a backhand because I said so. That's the answer, why. Yeah. But he would ask why, and I started paying attention, and he's asking why for, like, random stuff. Like, hey, son, go take a bath. Why, Daddy? Hey, son, do this. Why, Daddy? And as I took the opportunity to explain to him why, I learned that he really just wanted to know why. He was not back talking. He was not, being combative. He literally wanted to know why. I would tell him, hey, hold the rail when you go upstairs. Why, Daddy? And then after, initially it was what my parents said, hey, because I said so. And then he kept asking, So it's like, I would explain it to him, and then next time he say, hey, son, hold the rail when you go up. He says, why, Daddy, so I don't fall? And I learned that he literally was asking why because he wanted to understand. Like, he wasn't asking why to be combative, like I said. He wanted to understand. So now he does that with everything. And I've learned, like I said, they got feelings, they got emotions, they got thoughts. And as adults, we don't always think like they do.
Yeah.
So I think it's important to, allow them to speak, allow them to give their opinions, allow them to tell how they feel. You won't necessarily change your decision because as a father, I'm still the authority figure. I'm not necessarily gonna change my decision, but it may change how I handle something next time, to understand how it made you feel or to understand why you felt.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, that is great, man. I think that this is going to be a really powerful series of helping people to see what fatherhood really is. Because believe it or not, man, people still trying to figure it out. You know, now I'm not saying that we have figured it out. I'm saying that at least we have enough wherewithal to say, I'm going to be in my kid's life. I'm going to be in my kid's life because I know the effects of being present. The positive consequences of being present are infinite, right? Where we go as a family, I can take my kids deeper and higher by just being in their life, you know. But two also is that my wife needs me to be in my kid's life because that it's a shared responsibility. You know, it's not just on her, it's not just on me. I love what you said about the fact that the term provider has drastically changed in the last 20, 30 years. And that's good.
Absolutely.
Listen, fellas, if you're stealing your ego about your lady making more money than you,
don't care. We're in the same house.
Hello.
It's us. It's all us. We make this to take care of the family.
Yeah,
That's
man. Like this 1965, man. Like, dude, sit down with your wife and etch out a plan in a partnership if y'all don't have that. You know, because I do believe that most women will still give you that full power and authority if they trust you and you earned it over time. A lot of guys haven't earned it and they just want it because they feel like I'm the man. But you gotta earn trust and keep it. Like, you know, there's been times in my life where I have broken trust and I'm like, man, it's hard to get that back. I can't lose that again. Because now if I lose that again, I may never get it back. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying?
It's like, I mean, for me, well, with my spouse, my wife, haven't really had any issues where we lost trust. So fortunately, I want to keep it on that road.
Right.
Keep rolling that way. But I've had friends lose trust in your friends, and I mean, 10-year relationships go down the drain because I couldn't trust you in this situation, you know, or you know, you turned your back on me or whatever. I turned my back on you. However you want to look at it, it's tough. Like I can't imagine. I'm in a marriage group. We got just all men, all married men.
No doubt.
And sometimes they give their stories and their testimonies about, you know, how they wife lost trust in them, they did this, they did that, and the struggles they have of getting it back. And, you know, there are cases, they're in these relationships for 4 or 5 years and lose trust, and sometimes it takes 10 years to get back to where this problem happened at. You know, it takes much longer to fix the issue than it took for the issue to happen.
Great point.
Trying to stay away from that.
Yeah. Okay. You bring up something that is a great point, and that is as men, you can lose sight of what your real responsibilities are. Right? Let's say you were grinding for a minute, and then your business blew up or your job blew up. You feeling yourself now, and you think you can take on more of that social scene, or you know, got to be a little bit more out in the public. And you got to be careful with that because you can put yourself in a situation where people don't care about what you got going on at home. They just want something from you. And your job as the man is to protect what you've already established. Just because you worked for it don't mean you don't have to protect it. You still have to protect what you create, right? That's just how it goes. You buy a brand new house, 5-bedroom house, and don't put no cameras up. I mean, the day we live in, come on, man. You know what I'm saying? That's standard now.
Absolutely.
And so that awareness, it goes to that awareness because it's like you can mess your whole situation up by doing small things that create mistrust. And it doesn't have to necessarily be something big, but like your word don't mean anything to your spouse anymore. You know, where she looking at you like, yeah, I can't trust this dude. he blowing money and
Yeah.
and that's sad, but it happens. So so guys, don't do that.
Don't blow the money.
Don't blow the money. Don't mess the family situation up. I think Jay-Z had, you know, his last album. You could kind of tell that he realized how bad he had put his family in that position. Beyonce, a good wife though, right? Now it's crazy. She made an album, you know, Lemonade, called it Lemonade.
Right.
When they give you lemons, make lemonade. But I was listening into that, and I'm like, wow, these guys, they got all the money in the world, all the fame, and he still was searching for something that he didn't have at home. And now it's going to mess up his family situation, you know. And so, don't throw away a great family for a good time.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like that is it's not worth it.
I agree. Going down that road.
Yeah, it's not worth it, man. You know, and we're all tempted. We all see what we see. We're out in the world. But you know, if you're connected to your kids, I'm gonna tell you, there was a time in my life where I said, if I do something to dishonor my house, how comfortable am I telling my daughter I messed up? You know what I'm saying? Like that hit me,
Mm-hmm.
where I was like, no, I don't want to have that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even want to go down that road.
Like I know definitely in general, but you know, conversation or moments about spending money, about, you know, making decisions, going here or there. I always think about home. Like I think about, you know, this is something I want to do. This is something, you know, I want to go buy a new car, or I want to go hang out, or I want to go do whatever. Like how is it going to influence at home? So regardless if it's just taking time from home, if it's taking money from home, if it's going to break up home, whatever it is, that's always a thought on my mind when just in life, you know, part of life is thinking about how my decisions affect home.
Yeah.
And literally every decision I make that carries any weight. We ain't talking, you know, what I'm gonna eat today, but every decision I make, I think about how it's gonna affect at home.
But hit us with something, man, to that guy who is in a blended family. It may not be going well for him. What would you say to that brother right now?
Take time to learn. Take the opportunity to learn. It's kind of natural to learn your birth child.
Mm.
It didn't come necessarily natural for me to learn, and I'm only using the term for in context, but my stepdaughter, only because that's my child. But it didn't come natural to learn her because I didn't create her, or I came in and she was already 8, she was already 9. I missed all the beginning, so I don't know what her childhood was really like because I wasn't there. So I'm picking up at this point and we're going forward. But just learn, take time, take the opportunity to see what it is that they like, see what it is that they need, have those tough conversations, find out how they feel about their father not being in their life, or if he is in their life. If they're old enough, ask them what they expect from you. You know, what can I bring to the table to help you? I can't be your dad. I'm never going to be your biological father. I'm never going to try to be. But I can be your leader. I can be your father figure. I can be any of those things that you need, and that's what I signed up for. You know, make the child know that, you know, I'm taking you in. When I asked your mom to marry me, essentially I'm asking you to be my child too. Like I know they go together, so I want my child to understand that me asking her mom's hand in marriage was willingly bringing you in. You know, so it ain't no I picked her over you, or I wish you weren't. I took y'all together. Like it came together, and that makes sense for me. You know, so just allowing the child to know that, making them feel comfortable.
Hey, wasn't that deep? Certainly, man. Thank you for that. I think this is going to be really, really dope, and I appreciate you coming in. Yeah, man. This is an ongoing conversation. We're going to be dropping all types of content around fatherhood. I'm passionate about it. I believe that it's so important in our time because our kids can excel and go higher. And that's truly what the whole purpose is, man, for our kids to be better than us, go further, do more. And when I'm old, I always tell my kids, the 2 things I want you to never do. Number 1, never put sprinkles on my ice cream, okay? Because I'm going to have no teeth. So the sprinkles is going to hurt my gums. And 2, take care of your daddy.
Take care of that.
You know what I'm saying? It's gonna come to a point where I'm gonna need a little help. So I want to do everything I'm supposed to, and I'm supposed to. So when my time comes, my kids
want to
take care
help
of me.
Yeah, they want to help me.
Exactly.
Don't put me in no race. Unless I gotta have it. Like if you can, help me out a little bit, do that for me. Help me out. I'm with you.
Hey, this has been a great podcast. Like, share, subscribe. Shoot some comments out. Talk about it. Let's continue to have the conversation. Then dads, stepdads, blended families, bonus dads, all fathers, man. Not taking anything away from the mother, but certainly I got a strong passion for fathers, man. I want to see all of us winning, doing well, because most importantly, our kids need us the most. So if you ain't doing nothing but you in your kids' life, you're doing a whole lot. And so we appreciate you, brother.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me.
No doubt, man. No doubt. All right, guys. We'll see you next time. Good deal, man. Good deal. I think that was well. I ain't gonna have to do a whole lot of edits on that.
First time I ever done it.